Good afternoon. It's once again on a Friday afternoon at 5:30 in the beautiful city of Chicago, where we have all of the warm weather that we could possibly desire. But it's also good to be here as usual with you. I am excited because at the 5:30 time, that's when I come to Can Television Hotline 21. Our telephone number is 312-738-1060, which means that you can give us a call whenever you're ready. Well, this has been a hot time in our country this week. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrims' pride, land where African Americans were brought, enslaved, in chains, country where a proclamation was made. A group of men uttered these great words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Of course, historians will tell you that they didn't really mean all men, except in a very philosophical way. And certainly they didn't consider the role of women to be that significant in the making of public decisions, because they didn't give women the right to vote until 1920. And here we are at a juncture where it is very possible that a woman will become president of these United States of America. What a lot of progress we've made. But what a lot of progress we have not made. And I'm going to go right to our caller and see what our caller has on his or her mind. Then I'll finish my little diatribe, and then we can get back to listening to you. Caller, are you there?
I have a...
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, Congressman, I have a question and a comment. First, it was a beautiful sight to see everybody united on the stairs of the White House. Beautiful. But can I suggest that why don't all the congressmen, all the representatives of their district get together and walk hand in hand with candles, with everything, and go to our neighborhood where you guys represent, and talk to the people there. I never see, except a march in the afternoon, or they're at night, where all the action is. Then you can go and tell them people, our people, listen, we've got to stop this. We're killing each other, and for what? Nothing. So that's what I suggest, and thank you so much for taking my advice. Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you so much, and that, too, I'm afraid, is a philosophical question. Oh, it would be so great if we had the kind of unity in our society, or even if we had the kind of unity when we talk about leadership. But I'm afraid that there has always been conflict in society. And I think there always will be conflict. And how we handle that conflict will be the determinant of what our society ultimately become. We have another caller, and I want to go right to the phone. Caller, are you there?
Hello, Dr. Davis, U.S. Representative, 7th District. I listened to that long speech Donald Trump on TV last night, and I had some problems, and I hope some people thought about some of the things, would think about some of the issues that I brought up, okay? He brought up some things, but he never did say how these problems are going to be resolved. And when I look at some of the things, they talk about deregulations. Now, when we had all that deregulation in terms of our financial structure and the house and the marketing, that's what got us into those problems in terms of deregulation. Am I right so far?
Well, when you talk about deregulation, tell us what you're talking about.
How, I'll give you an example, all right? Say, for instance, someone want to buy a house, and they really had no business buying a house. They could just use their paycheck stub, and plus, the house at one time, it was overpriced. They really, let's say when you bought a $300,000 home, it really wasn't worth $300,000. And I want to bring one other point up. Donald Trump talked about putting coal miners back to work. Now, there's a problem with that. When you have, if you don't do it responsibly, it could affect the wildlife. It could affect lakes. It could affect streams because it have a negative effect if it's not done correctly. And then he brought up another point about, he talked about Hillary, the email situation. Now, he's talking about not supporting NATO. Now, that's about national security. You're going to have other countries, and you're not going to support NATO? Now, that's a national security issue right there. And then I have another issue. Then, when you talk about Black Lives Matter, you're talking about he's going to be like the law and order president. Now, not at one time, or I always use correction, not at one time the people that have gotten killed by the police, has he sent his condolences out. I have a problem with that. And then when he says certain things about the killings in Chicago, he don't do his research. When you have a $3 billion drug industry in the Midwest, that could cause problems. And when drugs can move through the Midwest, through the highway, through waterways, and the railways, yeah, it's going to bring certain types of problems. And he want to sit back and blame the president about that? No, you can't do that.
So you're saying you listened to Mr. Trump's speech, but you disagree with much of what he said.
Now, I do. I have a problem with him. He's saying things that make people happy. Now, I just gave an example. Anytime he's talking about putting coal miners back to work, now I have no problem if it's done responsible. Look at the research. Do your homework. A lot of times they blow mountains up to get to the coal. And then it does have a negative effect on the environment in terms of the wildlife, in terms of the waterways, like I was mentioning before, in terms of the rivers and lakes, and even the underground water as well. Now, people, I understand, but, you know, it got to be done responsibly. Donald Trump is not responsible. How can I put it? There's an old saying, measure twice, cut once. He run out the mouth too much. He don't think what he's saying. And I don't use this other proverb. God give you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should do twice as more listening as you do talking. I think he'd be very, very dangerous in the White House. And I think a lot of our constitutional rights would be stripped away if you're a minority.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll see what our reaction is to that, because I think we've already got another caller, and we'll go right to the phone and see what they've got to say. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, how's it going, Mr. Davis?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Well, I have a few issues here. You know, I want to first bring up what you said about there's a possibility of it being a female president. I don't think that would be a great possibility right now, because of her emails, and she's a compulsive liar and a crook. I don't see her running the country. As that previous, I want to comment on what that previous caller said. Okay, what about the killings in Chicago? She hasn't said anything about the police shootings or the, or the gang members killing each other here.
You sure she didn't talk about violence in Chicago?
I mean, she talks about it, but it's like she's not trying to do nothing about it, And as far as what the guy said, the previous caller said, okay, what is the president doing about the killings and stuff around his house? I mean, he's a liar. I mean, I didn't like him the day I met him. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, and then Donald Trump, I mean, I'm for him because he's trying to build a wall. And he's adamant about what he's saying. You want a president who's gonna lie to you like Barack Obama. You just hanging around because he's black. And why should we have to stick with Obamacare? Don't nobody have money for that.
So we got
constitutional rights are taken away. I'm talking about you have to have it.
So we've got a long 3 months coming, huh?
Right, and I don't see Hillary getting in there. I see Trump getting in there. Yeah, I mean, I disagree with some of the issues, but if it's the first come, it'll.
Well, let me ask you. Could I ask you this question? You're an African American, right?
I'm a half African American. I'm half.
Okay, so what would you consider to be the most pressing need that exists in the African American community?
That'll be jobs and more schools. That's what they need.
So jobs and good schools would be at the top of your list.
Yes, that'll be at the top of the list.
All right. And so you think Mr. Trump is going to do something about those two things?
Yeah, that too, and and another thing too. Not disagree with Obama with is the LGBT stuff. That's gonna really mess the world up now because not everybody is homosexual, and that's what I agree with Donald Trump about trying to end that stuff.
Well, let me ask you: does what homosexuals do have any impact on what sexuals do?
I mean, what you mean? I mean...
well, what I'm saying is that...
I come from a military family, and I mean, I'm not finna lie for the country. I'm not finna call, a man a woman, in the armed forces. I'm not finna do that.
All right.
That's not me.
Okay, thank you so much. We got your point. You've laid it out there. So let's see what our next caller has to say. Caller, are you there?
Well, Congressman, it's a great day to be alive on God's green earth.
It is indeed
and
that.
Another thing, Joe, you see what you stirred up? You heard the last caller.
Yeah.
But again, everyone has an opinion. I didn't like when he said, now he says he's half black, but he said what they need is what we all need. To that last caller. But listen, everyone has opinion, but my opinion to talk about that fella that was at the Republican, what do you call that, stage or that reality show, that what it was. He's not a politician. He's an entertainer. He did a very good job entertaining. I mean, everybody liked him when he was on Celebrity Apprentice. But about him knowing anything about political issues is another different world. But again, I don't like to talk about it.
So you're saying you think Mr. Trump is more of an entertainer than a politician?
People who really don't like certain things, colors, nationalities, things of that nature. But that's another story. That's just my opinion, because everyone has the opportunity to say anything they want. Now, let's get back to reality. You stated that we might have our first female president. And listen, there's a possibility we might have our first black vice president. I mean, it's a lot of good things about it. But let me tell you, go to prison, show them in jail. I mean, you know, guns and everything. Sometimes you gotta be careful what you say, because on both sides of the fences there are two crazy people. You got crazy people on one side, you got crazy people on the other side. So be careful. You gotta be careful of things you say, because it ends up biting you in your butt.
All right.
I don't want to see nothing happen to anyone. But who cares about a damn email? Who cares about what's... let me tell you, it's the most important thing. God, you got to control yourself. You can't control what other people do. You can't be responsible just because you're the congressman. Can you be held liable because someone killed somebody on the west side? You didn't do it. You couldn't stop it. The people who know who did it could stop it.
All right, let's...
So, you know what? I better not. I don't want to
Okay.
get riled up about that.
Well, let me go to our next caller and see what they're
I think you're a
saying.
hell of a good guy.
All right.
We
It's hot this afternoon. Caller, are you there?
How is Donald Trump going to run the country when the man has filed bankruptcy 3 times? I want to give some facts. Maybe that changed the brother mind on Donald Trump. The man was taken to court because he would not rent to minorities. That is a fact. Look it up and see for yourself. The man, he's talking about putting Americans back to work. If you look at a lot of his companies, guess what? His companies are overseas in terms of where you can get his ties, his suits, and et cetera's made. Now, how are you going to talk about, be an example for everybody else in terms of their company when you got your companies working overseas and you got them people working in sweatshops for a little bit of money and you bring it back over here that make a lot of money out of it? You're talking about making different types of trade agreements. I wonder who those trade agreements going to be really in favor of.
So you don't like Mr. Trump?
Anything stop me dead in my tracks.
All right, so you don't like Mr.
What
Trump?
I'm saying, that Trump University, I say Trump University, now put an F in front of the U, and that's what he done to a lot of people. Take care.
All right, thank you so much. We'll take our next caller. Caller, are you there? All right, while we're waiting for our caller, let me just make an announcement or two. We always have lots of meetings where you can come out and discuss these things in person with other people. And we've got 3 coming up, one on August the 9th, one on August the 17th, and one on August the 24th. We've got town hall meetings in Broadview, at the Village Hall, in Forest Park, at the Village Hall, and in River Forest. And after we get through with those suburban activities, then we'll be all around your neighborhood in the city of Chicago. So look out, look for them. Of course, on August the 7th, we have Chicago State University Day. That is where we are encouraging young people to look seriously at trying to get some form of higher education. And I think that Chicago State is a good place, a good choice, because you don't even have to go out of town. It's the only predominantly black institution of higher learning that is above the community college level in the state of Illinois. And you can give them a call at the admissions office and find out what you have to do to register. Don't forget our city colleges, 7 of them, provide excellent opportunity, but in some way, shape, form, or fashion, try to get yourself a shot of additional education. We were at Malcolm X the other night with just an outstanding, we were there with Facebook, and we had students and parents and everybody learning how to do this technology stuff, computer programming. Caller, are you there? Yes, caller, are you there?
I called earlier, and I want to tell you This is a slam bam, great show today. But the thing I wanted to say was about the caller before me, said something about he didn't care about emails, he didn't care about. But you know what? You have to be at least half honest about what you say. Now she says she's for women. Yet she takes all that money from the countries that women can't do anything. Another thing is that another one said something about jobs and stuff. Look at since this administration got in, it went up to over 50% of minorities getting jobs. Now, you can't run on a record like that, and she's going to back up President Obama. So there's bad and everything. It's up to you, though, as a human being, to, just like they said, vote your conscience and make sure that you vote.
So you think it matters who the president is, huh? All right, I think our caller did finish. You know, we've had some spirited discussion. Of course, I'm going to go off next week to Philadelphia. It's kind of my duty and responsibility to be there, to not only observe what goes on, but to be a participant in it. And I'm going to be speaking there too, just like Republicans spoke at their convention and said a lot of things. We're going to be speaking at the Democratic convention. And we will try and convince people that whatever we're talking about is what they ought to be paying attention to. I agree with the gentleman who said African Americans, and yeah, I'm an African American, I'm a black guy. As a matter of fact, my family reunion is taking place right now, and my niece who put it together, she got all kind of questions, and you know, people have been talking about our parents, and we've gotten emotional, and people have cried remembering their mother, their father, their grandparents, remembering things. Let me tell you, everybody ought to have a family reunion every time they get a chance. I mean, she got questions like, what was your mother's favorite song? And I remember one of my mother's favorite songs was, There's a Leak in This Old Building. And she said, what was your father's favorite song? My father used to sing a song, Soon We'll Be Done with the Troubles of This Old World, and I'm going home to be with my Lord. And he'd say things in like, no more weeping and a wailing. No more. And let me tell you, yeah, we got a lot of problems, but we've actually come a long way in this country. I was doing an interview with two young fellas this morning, and I was trying to share with them some of the things that James Weldon Johnson projected when he said that we've come over ways that with tears have been watered. We've come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. When out from the gloomy past and now we stand at last, while the bright gleam of our star is cast. So yeah, I guess as we begin to end the day, we should understand that we are facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us then march on to the victory is won. And let us be involved, let us be engaged, let us not sit at home and wonder what's going on. Let's be out in the arena to help make it happen. You can't be a spectator in this public decision-making stuff. Get ready, because there's a train a-coming. You gotta get on board. Well, I'll see you next Friday. Till then, have a wonderful week and love yourself and your neighbor.